The modern power grid was invented in the summer of 1885. That's when Edison and Westinghouse essentially had a battle and agreed on the standards for the way we build out the US power grid and the power grids around the world. We did that for about 100 years. We deployed it until the grid became ubiquitous. Every home had access to the grid. It was low cost, high reliability power for everyone. But if Edison came back today, he'd recognize the technologies that we use as 100-year-old plus technologies. And what we are now seeing is the application of information technology to this grid that is going on 125 years old now. And what it's allowing us to do is to be much more reliable, much safer, and eventually much lower cost in the way that we operate it. So today, a typical utility with, say, 5 million customers checks its customers once a month and sends them a bill. What we're moving to is a world where the average customer is communicating with the utility every 6 seconds. So from once a month to every 6 seconds, a dramatic change in the quantity of information. What that allows us to do are things like being able, it used to be that a utility found out that you were out of power when you called. When you called the utility and said, my power's out. Now the utility can know in 6 seconds that your power is in fact down and be able to respond in ways that get you back up and operational faster and protect your neighbors from power outages at the same time. So we have many fewer of the cascading blackouts that we saw in the 60s, 70s, and going into the 1980s. And this is all about bringing information technology together with the grid. It's allowing us now to operate in wholly new fashion. So if I now have a solar panel on the roof and an electric car plug-in, I can now manage that in a grid, whereas even up to a decade ago, if you did that, you'd end up well, having real challenges with your local transformer, getting overheated and potentially failing by putting that much power in the grid. We now have enough information control that we can begin to bring in distributed sources of power. We can bring in more distributed uses of power. Importantly, the customer wants higher quality in its power because we're all connecting computers into the grid, and this allows us to provide that same kind of quality control. And it allows us to do it all substantially more efficiently. The average from the power plant to the home, on average, about 10% of the power is lost just in the heat from the inefficiency of running through the grid. Just by using some information technology, we can cut that in half. Add 5% to the US power supply just by using information technology, a dramatic change in the economics of how we bring power to the home and to all of us every day.